this damn phone. Okay.
Preparing to live stream your meeting. Setting up your meeting.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the Zoom. Done. Redirecting you to YouTube.
You just never know how that stuff's going to go.
No. Okay.
I honestly record mine and then I post it to YouTube. I stopped trying to stream it. It's just, it doesn't always work.
Oh, there we go. We are ready.
All right. We're streaming?
We are streaming. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to record this. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritual Sunday Conversations. Today I have the amazing Tammi Morrison joining us. Speaker, author, full-around badassery of woman. I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to jump into our conversation today. So take it away, Tammi love.
Thank you so much for having me today, Jennifer. My name is Tammi Morrison, and I am CEO of Unleashing Your True Self. And I am a Radical Guide DNA Activation Practitioner. I'm a Sacred Soul Alignment Practitioner, a Certified Theta Healer, a Reiki Master. All things energy is what I say. Also a writer. I got articles everywhere. And then two-time author, best-selling. Actually, I think one was like a amazing new release or some shit, and then best-selling author. And my latest book, which I have to do a commercial because that's what we do. Walking Away. This is my book, and it is my story. So it's, of course, near and dear to my heart, but it has set me on a path to be able to help women, especially women that want to share their story. And so I actually have been working on a group program to help women to be able to share their story and unpack their trauma and their drama and all this stuff. And even if they don't want to share it, with other people, even if they just want to get it out of their head and be able to get some healing from that stuff. Because my own personal story was so crazy that even when I read the book, I thought, who the hell is this? I thought, oh my God, because it was so much. And I was real raw and I was unapologetic and I just put it out there. And it has gotten the most amazing reviews that I couldn't even foresee that. I knew that it was a good book and I knew that I could write, but the reviews that I've gotten have just blown my mind. And so that is so amazing to me. And so that has put me on the path, like I said, to help women. And I'm just, so grateful for that. And I'm grateful for this opportunity, Jennifer.
Oh, well, we're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
So y'all, when we post the replay, we will include the links for all of this so that you can follow and grab yourself Tammi's new book as well. Okay. Because you want to.
Oh, yes.
So let's dive into the question today. How do you connect to spirit?
So for me, I have over the years, because I had probably an awakening about I think it started around 2013. And so over time, I've been studying energy and ways to connect. And I always was spiritual anyway. And even as a child, I used to, my grandmother was a pastor, preacher, teacher, evangelist, prophetess type. So she used to call me to pray for people because she said I had the gift. Okay. So when I connect to spirit, I'm one of those people that I light my candles and I just go into a meditative state and just begin to call in spirit. And I do it even like at work. I do that sometimes. I just take a breath, use my breath energy and just connect in that way. Also, we talked about light language before we even got on here, and that's something that I have embraced for years, but I had no idea what it was until I started seeing a lot of lives and a lot of people talking about it, and I kind of started doing some research. So it was like, okay, all right. So I've always been doing that. However, but the connection part is like, okay, I believe that it's one of those things that I have kind of just always done, but didn't know exactly how to do it or how I was doing it. And then as I've gone through in this journey, I just began to, like I said, get in that meditative state and just call in, my archangels, my guides, my ancestors, and all of that.
I love that. And one of the things that I thought it was interesting how you said, I even do this at work. That so many times I feel like we get so caught up in
Yes.
connecting to spirit is such a separate thing. Like I have to make
Yes.
sure that I have my candles here and my cards here, or I have this X amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not, right? I mean, it really is. That's why it's so unique to everybody. So I love that you said
Yes.
that. I call it in at work. It's like, y'all, I'm taking a spirit moment here. Let me take a
You
spirit.
have to. You have to, because the thing is, and I'm actually, I'm actually writing another book. I'm writing a ebook about using your spiritual gifts in everyday life,
Oh, I love it.
because people want to compartmentalize
Yep.
spirit, and to me, the difference between spirituality and religion is that religion likes to compartmentalize spirit,
Mm.
and they don't, a lot of times they don't see how huge God, spirit, universe, whatever you call it, is. And so this is one of the things that is one of my goals, is to help people to realize that you can use this stuff in everyday life. So
Yeah.
for me, I almost have to connect at work, because my job is can be rather stressful. And so over time I started learning that, and I would just take a step back. Sometimes, I would go to the bathroom or something, but not even that. Sometimes just take a step, just move out of the way, or just,
Hmm.
like last night I listened to meditation by Deepak Chopra. And I was like, I'm going to take a minute, because I need this time. And I just did. And so I think that if we learn how to bring spirituality into our everyday life, and not just, you know, creating rituals all the time, or just having to have a ritual in order to be able to connect, because you don't really have to do that. However, there's been a lot of teaching that you did have to do that over the years. But I noticed that as time is going, and as we are moving from the 3D and all that kind of stuff, that people are beginning to speak on this, and it's amazing to me, because even down to stuff like I did a live the other day with another young lady, and we talked about how when you're in the spiritual awakening time, you lose friends, and you
Mm.
lose people in your life. And all of a sudden, the friend you had for 20 years, they can't relate to you. They have no idea what you're talking about. And so, that friendship goes away. And how you deal with that, and I think that was like, it was like amazing, because nobody's talking about that.
Yep.
People are talking about the fact that you might get separated and this, that, and the third, but they're not talking about the fact that that shit hurts.
Yep.
It hurts. You got a friend that you have for 10, 15, 20 years, and then all of a sudden you can't even have a conversation with them, because they have no clue what you're talking about, or they're not going in that same direction as you,
Yeah.
they have not been awakened. And so, so I believe that those are the conversations that we need to have. How do we bring spirituality into everyday life? How do we, move by the spirit as we're doing our work, and as we're raising our families, and as we're in our marriages, and as we do the things that we do every day.
Yeah. No, totally. I was actually I think that's really funny you say that. I was discussing this with a friend recently, or we were half kind of mentioning it, that this up leveling, right? We're
Yes,
talking about this up
yes,
leveling, and a lot of the people in spiritual communities are like, I'm up leveling, I'm up leveling. Well, it
yes.
sounds great,
Mm-hmm.
but the parts we
Yep.
don't talk about are the fact that, like I know for me, and I think for a lot of people, 2020 has been a massive year of
Woo,
shifting and up leveling, right? And
woo.
when I pause, you know, I realize there's quite a few people that are just no longer in my life. And it's not like always this massive, like, we had this fight.
Right.
They just fall away. And you take a moment and you go,
wow.
What happened to everybody? Like, oh, okay. And it's one of those, like, I feel like people glamorize a lot of the spiritual.
Yes.
They don't want to talk about, like, it's like, oh, but I'm, kind of thing. And then, and then we're just like, but it's okay. Love and light.
Love and light.
Those who follow me know, I mean, if you've been around me for a while, I'm not a big fan of that. Not that I don't agree with light and being of love, but the spiritual bypass of that term of love and light, of like, I'm not going to acknowledge that shit hurts, yo.
It's almost like when people tell you, and I was raised in the Pentecostal holiness thing. So people always tell you, bless your heart. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell does that mean? What do you really mean when you say that? And it's almost like, I saw it in a post one day, and somebody said something about, oh, well, this is happening and that is happening, but we're just going to give it love and light. And I thought, fuck no, we're not going to do that.
Yes.
No, we're not. That is not what we're doing, because that makes no sense, for one thing. And the other thing is, we're not just going to be bypassing shit. We're not going to do it. We're not. And I feel the same way. It's like, and I'm careful when I say that, because I don't want people to get the idea that we do, but we have to consider, how we're using that. And consider, what do we mean by that? And it's funny because my husband and I, we have this joke. People will say stuff and he'll look at me and I'll look at him and he'll say, well, what do that even mean?
Yes.
What do that even mean? And that's kind of what you want to say. You're like, well, what do you really mean by that? What are you saying?
Right.
Speak plainly, and tell me, where is this coming from? And where are we going with it? Right?
Yeah. Well, and I heard a lot of people right now talk about the fact that we're moving into this, I know people see the Aquarian age, and I think a lot of that gets covered in the, like, sparkleness of the, like, commercialized. I really feel like it's, in a lot of the stuff, like today I was listening to a works or a masterclass on community inclusion and things like that. And part of what they were saying is people don't like listening or connecting the spiritual bypass or the patriarchy or the colonialism or the commercial and capitalism to the spiritual communities.
Right.
But it's there, right? So I feel like the Aquarian age is all pretty in sparkle. How can we package it? We're advancing. We're going to this 5D. It's going to be amazing. But they don't talk about the fact that part of what that is that you're going to look at self. And you've got to really look at self, and your authentic voice is what's going to be your truth.
Yes.
Which is not always the same sparkle manifestation. Everybody can journal and everybody can do this and everybody can, up level the same way. It's all going to be beautiful and unique, but we have to talk about,
the shadow part.
Yes. The cave.
The cave, it's not always pretty.
No, the cave.
We got to talk about, like, matter of fact, before I got on here, I was doing a live in my group and I surrender. And one of the cards I pulled was surrender the fear of change. And I was
pulled a card for me. Oh, you're so sweet. That's right. The card for me.
I pulled two. The other one is surrender to the wisdom of your body.
Gosh darn it. Those cards, they're talking to me today.
Right? They were talking to all of us. And I explained that. And I said, we don't always, take into consideration that our body knows what it needs. And we need to give it what it needs. And that is not only on a physical level, but it's on a spiritual level. We have to give it what it needs. And then we have to realize is here. It is here. 2020 has taught us, if nothing else, that change is here. I don't think that things will ever be the same. I think that there are some things that we're just going to have to take with us, and so that was something that, it's so funny because I had a girl give me a reading the other day, and they always say she snatched my egg. She did, because she was like, "You need to surrender," and she said it, and I knew it because I felt it because I had already been dealing with it. But it's
Mhm.
like it came together, and I was like, "Oh God, she's so right." She's like, "You got to surrender." Because it is time for you to make this change. And we don't always want to do that. And then the thing is, we get all caught up in the love and light thing. And love and light doesn't always allow us to make that change that we need to make,
Mm.
because we bypass that shit. We sweep
Right.
it under the rug. We don't, we're not looking at our shadows. We're not looking to integrate them into the rest of us. And we're not looking to make those changes that we got to make, because we have to make an awakening and not change,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we have to do it. It's like, okay, and we can fight it all day long, but eventually, if you're going to up level, then you have to make that transition. You have to make that change. So, I'm just excited because, for me, it's like I've met people like you that are in this same place, and also realizing that, yes, love and light is beautiful. However, we have to look at them, because we can't just leave them over to the side, because we've already done that all our lives, right? And
Mm-hmm.
when you begin to awaken, it's like they start coming at you like, oh my God, they start coming at you.
Yep.
And if you're a person that journals, they start coming at you. You write that sucker down, and then you sit with it and you say, hey, what do I need to do for this? I ask my team, ask my guys, ask, God, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, whoever. I say, hey, what do I need to do with this? Where do I need to take this? How is this going to help me to up level? And then how is this going to help me to help somebody else? Because I'm big on, reaching back and pulling another sister, because I know how that feels,
Mm.
because for me, I didn't have anybody, when I was going through all this stuff with, and I'm going to share a little bit, my ex, um, which, he was really, there's no easy way to say this. He was super whorish. And so,
Mm.
so he ended up, with his karma, and he got AIDS. And so we went through that and dealt with that. And I actually stayed with him for quite a few years. He was diagnosed. Um, and it was a transition, a thing that, we had to deal with and stuff at that time. And I had to, shift and move, and up level at that thing. And then as time went on, we ended up splitting up anyway. But heal from that relationship. There were still things I had to do, for me, and nobody else could do it from that relationship, in order to be able to move forward and be able to be in love and light, and
Mhm.
be able to attract someone else into my life that valued me and loved me like my husband now,
Mhm.
and not attract the same man, because that's another piece. When you're in these type of relationships, a lot of women jump out of that one and they jump into another one. They don't take time to heal. They don't take time to even listen to themselves. They don't take that time, and they just continue to move forward and move forward and move forward. And then they wonder why they look up and they're in the same damn marriage.
Mhm.
It's not the same man, but it's the same man.
Well, I
It's
think
almost
that's
like a cookie cutter.
yeah. Well, and I think a lot of us actually do that. I mean, because I see that in,
Yes.
you know, it's that I was, as you were talking, I was thinking about the echo concept of as we up level, universe is going to keep sending the things to us and say, are you really? Did you really? Did
Yes.
you really mean this?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you just say that because it looked really good and you were doing the ritual and you were like, I shall release all fear? It
Yes.
goes, no, did you really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I see, so many times people are like, I don't know why this keeps happening. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why I'm still going. And I was like, because you got layers and because you haven't found the root and you just acknowledge the surface. Like that's a root. Dig, child, dig.
Yes.
Dig.
And you didn't heal. You know, you didn't take some time. I told one girl, I said, wait, you got divorced a month ago and now you're remarried? I mean, how does that work? I mean,
my Lord.
did you take time? You know, no wonder you got the same damn man, because you were looking at the one that you had. I said, and you didn't take the time out to just, you know, just be with you, you know, figure out what the hell it is that you even want, you know, because, you know, when you're in a relationship, a lot of times, you know, we morph in our relationships, especially as women. You know, we conform to, you know, what our husband likes and all this other kind of stuff. Or, you know, I don't even want to say husband, I'd say partner, because, you know, we have a lot of, and I don't want to alienate anyone. So, you know, we morph, you know, and we change ourselves sometimes to these things. And so a lot of times once you get out of those, especially abusive or narcissistic relationships, you have to heal. You have to take time out. You got to take some time. You know, for me, I don't think I dated for like a year after me and my ex split up. You know, and we were together for 20 years. And I think I was 17 when I met him, and we were 19, we got married. So I took that space and just took that time just to heal. And I wasn't even at the place where I am now. I was just knowing that I needed to heal. And then the other part of me, I thought about this. I said, well, I'm feeling hurt, you know, because even at the end of it, I felt hurt. And I said, I'm feeling hurt and I don't want to hurt anybody else. And that was another, you know, I was like, you know, I got to heal. I have to get this out of me and I have to do this thing. And even in writing the book, even though it's 10 years later, I still had to take that time. You know, I still had to heal even in writing the book. And the funny thing is, I wrote the book in like 30, 45 days. So, and then, you know, and then I sat on it a little bit. I didn't even publish it. I was like, okay, I'm done with it now. And then I started getting scared a little bit. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna put this thing out here, you know? And then I was like, and then I heard Spirit say, because I am clairaudient primarily, and so I hear lots. And so I heard Spirit say, yeah, it's time to do this thing, you know? And then I had also gotten my DNA activated as well. And so that like pushed me out. It's like the courage just came out of me and it's like, okay, do this thing, you know? And I say, okay. So I feel like as we are up leveling and as we're doing those things that scare us, those things that scare us, those things that we fear, you know, like the fear of change. As we're doing those things and as we're moving in that direction, we're at that place where we're up leveling to another place. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I definitely was thinking about how you were, there's a few things like how you were talking about relationships. And I know for me, right, as I was listening to the masterclass and a lot of the kind of work I'm doing right now, is exploring relationship and exploring and how that is, and the fact, you know, and especially for me as a cis white woman, my relationship to others and what is that role, and as a mother, what is that role, and as an entrepreneur and as a healer, and they're all different but all the same. And really exploring the fact that and then myself, because I don't know if you Enneagram work, but so I'm an Enneagram 2, which is all about is the caregiver. That's my type. So for me, I for the longest time didn't realize, but I didn't have a relationship with self. I had a relationship with everybody else.
Yes.
I could, you know, I defined myself through my relationships with everybody else.
Yes.
And so another big part was, okay, so what is that relationship with you look even like? And so that's been such an interesting, you know, journey of the soul to try to be, and it is, and that up leveling, that activation, you know, as those things start happening, it starts being like, So let's just wait you here. So I guess I see that you're dealing with 3D this life. I got you. Now, while you're there, since you said you didn't mind that you would heal this, can we deal with your ancestral stuff too? Oh, and while you're there, how about these past lives?
Yes.
And you're like, so I just was handling my this life shit. And now, like, you want me to deal with 7 generations on both sides and all and my like ancient DNA. Okay. I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna cry in the corner. But you know,
I'm gonna wait.
Like, I know I said I could handle this, but I'm just saying. But it's that exploration of relationship.
Yes.
You know, and like what. And are you willing to change? Are you willing to break? Because I was talking to my mom today about I think you were in the North Node program, right? With Janelle, or you do North Node work?
No, but I know Janelle.
Oh, okay. So
no, I have not done that yet. I've got to, it's
live on
kind of
YouTube.
A budget right now.
Janelle's gonna be like, get her. So okay, but my Chiron's in the second house Gemini. So I know my soul wounds are this is something I've been dealing with too before that. But so money, and I have a Chiron retrograde too. So like my money story is always coming back up for me. And today I had to sit down because I've been working on me. I've been working on, what in this life it might be, what it may be past lives. And I sat down with my mom and I said, look, I know you don't like talking about or thinking about your stuff at all, Miss South Node Taurus. But can we talk about maybe the family's money story? Because I'm dealing with my shit and it's still coming up. Like, and we heal, right? I'm definitely, I'm so many steps ahead, but I was like, there's something deeper and I'm doing my stuff. What's going on? And she goes, oh, well, yeah, your great grandmother used, lost, on both sides, they lost everything and blah, 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 blah. And they never trusted banks and they had to do this and we never had money because of this. And blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
there you go.
I was like, why do you think the grand and the great grandchildren and the children had issues with it? Like, it's this like unspoken. So it's that interesting exploration of relationship, of, the DNA relationship, your personal relationship, your interplay, and how that, so we were talking about that, how that affects not just our family, but then all people we come in contact with, so yeah, I think it's an interesting shift we're making as a collective from this me to we kind of shift to like, I'm not a solo entity. I am me. I am my DNA. I am my past.
Right. And it's not, I'm not on an island, is what I always say. Yeah. I'm not an island. I have other parts. I have other pieces. Right. It's like, okay. Yeah. And that's funny that you brought that up, because that is actually something that I'm dealing with as well, and I actually talked to my mother as well, because believe it or not, I wrote in my first book, it was a compilation, or what do they call them? Anthology.
Oh, yeah.
And it was 9 women, and we did stories about our relationships with our mothers. And some of them were really crazy. Like one of the girls, her mother was like mentally ill and on drugs, and was like selling them for, drugs and burning them with cigarettes. Oh, it was just sad. I was crying when I was reading it. And others had, crazy relationships. And mine, it's funny, I'm gonna make you laugh. My mother was she was just bitter and fucking crazy, and stuff. And I just, I couldn't deal with it. And it was funny because when I got the opportunity to write it, I thought this will help us heal. And you know what? It did. Because I wrote this story. I talked to her when I decided to write it. I said, Ma, I need to tell you something. I'm writing this story and it's about you. And it was funny because she was like the first person that bought the book. Ooh. Matter of fact, and she bought the ebook and she bought the paperback. So I thought, okay, because she's been super supportive ever since. But before, it was like, my mom's like this. Oh, well, what you need to do is you school and you need to go and get your RN, and you need to go get your master's, and you need to do this. And I'm like, Ma, I'm not doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. That is not where I'm going, but, and then once I actually wrote that story and she read it, and then my dad read it, he's like, oh, now I understand some things. He's like psychoanalyzing my mom. It was hilarious. But I said that to say that in exploring that relationship, and actually, writing about it, it was so healing, and now we have the relationship that I was the one that pushed it forward. Now, my grandmother, and I didn't know this, told my mom before she passed away that she needed to fix our relationship because it was bad for years. I mean, I grew up and I was like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I got married, I was like, you going? I'm going. I had to get the hell away from here. But yeah, so now it's like we've got this amazing relationship, and it's because I unpacked this thing. I wrote about it and I sat down with it and I shared it with her, and and so we a lot, and so it's been amazing. You know what I mean? And so I know that in sharing your story, it is such a healing journey. So I'm so I think about that when I think about all the different up levelings, because I believe that we up level degree, that we just keep up leveling,
Mm-hmm.
and we do it in different areas, and it's not compartmentalized. It all is together, but we just look at it that way. You look at it in, okay, this is my family up leveling, and this is myself up leveling, and this is my mama up leveling, or, and this is how a lot of times we look at it, but that's really not the case. The case is it's all together, and we do it, but we don't do it all at the same. A beautiful thing, because I don't think we could handle it.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
We like
It
have
would
to
just
take it.
overwhelm us.
Yeah, little steps, little
Right,
steps.
right,
And
right.
I think that helps when people, to pause and think about
Yes,
that,
yes,
especially, we're all so unique, and,
yes.
there are different aspects of our lives that need to come up. Could you imagine if you were trying to up level your entire life? Like, you're
Ooh,
like, I'm gonna have my whole life fall apart completely in every aspect.
yeah,
And I think some
no,
people do try to do that. And the universe is like, I don't think you meant what you
like,
meant.
no. Let me stop this fool. Know? I think that's what happens.
They're like, I don't think
Let me
you
stop this fool.
understand.
Let me just shut it down right here. Right? Oh, it's amazing. I tell you, it's just something. When you think about it, in all of these directions, it's like, damn, okay, yeah, I got this. All right. You know?
Well, and so, because we are gonna, I hate to say this, like I feel like I could talk to you all day, and I know you got to go to sleep. So, but I wanted to I noticed a few times, especially and as a writer too, you mentioned that you journal, and I know you pull cards and things like that. But I'd be curious too, like what are those tools that you really turn to as you up level, as you're exploring, as you're, so do you journal? Do you what tools do you use to really kind of support that exploration, support that journey?
So I'm actually I'm glad you asked that. So I actually it's amazing because I was at the discovery of all of that for myself. Because to be honest with you, I know that I packed a lot of things down. And so that's one of the reasons why I started journaling and I started meditating and all this stuff, because that was my coping mechanism. I just pack shit down. Stuff happens. I say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to deal with that. Put that shit in the ground, and then maybe I'll deal with it later. And later sometimes never comes,
Right.
or later is coming now. And so, and so I decided, I started looking at the things that I enjoyed, because that is like super important to me, because the work that I do as far as in the earth, in the world,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like so burned out. It makes no sense. So I started looking for things that I enjoyed. And so one of the things that I love to do is I love music. I love to listen to music. I love any kind of music. I'm really super loving jazz. So if you ever watch me like do cars or anything, I always have music on. I don't care what the fuck Facebook says. I always have music on. One time they muted my thing, talking about I didn't have rights to the music.
I hate when they do that. I'm like, listen here.
I'm like, I have rights. I bought it from Amazon Music.
And I gave credit. I gave credit. Listen here now. I know they do that to me all the time. I'm like, listen here.
Right? I'm like, it's Amazon Music. I pay for it every month, you know. But yeah, so I love music. I love to sing. And I'm actually pretty freaking good at it. So I do that and I dance, you know, and that helps to move and shift my energy. And I noticed it will help shift other people's energy too. And so I started really creating it into, you know, and I do anyway. Like I said, I was just sitting here listening to music before you came on. And I was like, okay, but I noticed that it takes you places. So those are some of the things I do. And I journal as well. And of course, I pull cards also, you know, for myself as well as other people, but definitely that. And I like to read. Now I do more audibles than anything now. But I laugh. I said, because somebody asked, well, how many books do you read at a time? I was like, shit, sometimes 10. Sometimes I got 3-4 audibles open and I'm reading some books and studying, you know, and I'm one of these people that I like to learn, you know, and I feel like I've gotten a college degree and all the energy stuff that I've done. Because you see, you just take courses and courses and courses and like, oh, I need to learn about that. I want to learn about that, you know. So for me, that takes me places, you know, just being able to journal. And then, like I said, I got an article I need to write that was due yesterday or day before or something. I've kind of, you know, I'm really kind of doing that. And then like I said, I've got these, I got 3 ebooks that I'm working on, you know, so stuff like that. So that kind of helps me as well. Because I think it just gets things out of my head, you know, because I can feel head heavy. You like that term?
I do.
I just created it.
Love it.
Head heavy.
It does. We're very, I mean, there's so many things in that statement we could like dive into for another few hours. But we do. We're such a mental society.
Yeah.
That, you know, I love when I try to tell people I want you to just be aware of your body.
Yes.
I just want you to tune into your body.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there being like, now I feel this something in my back. Where do we think this is coming from? Do we think this is fun? And I'm like, listen here, I told them to just tune into their body and not dissect. And you're over here being like, and could the root cause of this back pain be this and this family situation? Should I now? And I'm like, your back hurts. Your
wait. No, it's your root chakra.
I know, right? And it's just that, and that's not to say for those listening that, you know, there aren't those reasons, but we as a society often jump first to the brain analyzing and breaking down all the meanings. Like instead of just listening to our sacral. Yes or no, sacral, yes or no. And we're like, I think I might feel with this person at this time. I could with the two together, then go here. And you're like, yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes.
So totally.
That is so, I mean, that's like on point. Because especially, you know, as we start going and diving deep into the spiritual and all that stuff, you know, it's like you gloss over shit that, you know, it should be simple. Like my back was hurting and I know that, you know, I've been working on my root chakra and I know I got some root chakra issues and all that stuff because, you know, the money piece, you know, that's the root chakra, right? Yeah. I was like, you know, I know I have, you know, I've been dealing with that and I've been, you know, I've been working in that area and on that, you know, but the back pain for me was because I was fucking running up and down the damn stairs all night. And I have osteoarthritis in my lumbar and, and some other shit going on right here in my cervical. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm kind of, I was scared to deal with it. But yeah, so I mean, but those are things that, I can send energy to, and I can do all these things as well. But then I can also put some damn cannabis cream on it too.
It's got the 2 layers. It's the 2 layers, right? Like, of course, like the lower back pain. Like, I know my mid back pain is partially because I'm dealing with heart chakra stuff and feeling loved and all that emotional. I'm also carrying a 28-pound, almost 4-year-old around a lot, which is part of why I am dealing with love and all these things, right? So it's an interesting, constant journey between, can I just stop overthinking and stop, and just feeling, and can I just, tell my brain it's okay to stop today. Tomorrow we'll get back to it.
I'm telling you, it's so amazing because I talk to so many women with deep issues, and it's funny because I used to get in, right? Because I know that I'm called to do it, but I would get intimidated by it. And now I'm like, no. Take a step back. I need you to breathe. And I need you to feel your body. Feel into your body. And they're like, what? Feel into your body. What the hell is your body telling you? What are you feeling? How are you going to address that? And so it's quite an interesting journey, as you say.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally because I think what's interesting, as we, okay, and then I promise I'll let you go sleep because I'm sure your body is telling you to sleep. I'm like, oh,
it's okay. I feel the same way like you. I could talk to you for 2 hours.
I do have a call at 3:30. I'm supposed to be paying attention.
It's all good.
They're downstairs too with the Christmas tree. They're fine. But it's very interesting to, when you're, I think a lot of us called. So I had to re-pull the train of thought. Come back here, Choo-Choo. When a lot of us, I think, especially right now, who are on this journey too, are being called to do the deep work, to dive into the deep work.
Yes.
So we're not scared when everybody else, because I know I'm the same way. Like, I originally, when I launched my Penumbra Awakening School, it was like, oh, I'm going to support you. We're going to go through the awareness in the cave, and we're going to go here, and it's going to be great, and you're going to yoga, and it'll be fabulous. And that was the voice in my head, and it seemed beautiful. And then a few months later,
you got real people.
And then I got real people, and I went, we got shit to deal with. Okay, back in the cave here. The cave is, you're not like. I was like, because I was like, oh, and I'm going to get you to the manifestation stage. And I was like, okay, we got to focus the key. Nobody's coming out of the cave. Why are we not coming out? Because that's how the progression works. It's a visual kind of thing. And then it would be, so then it was Rooted to Rise, where we really started dealing with, okay, let's heal then. That's what we need. Let's heal. Sacral, root, sacral, navel, the lower 3 chakras. And then it was funny, source through one of my coaches, she was tapping in because she's like, you don't like listening to your higher self. So she comes to me a lot. I was like, listen here, because I don't like what she has to say. I'm just saying, she and I have fighting words a lot of times because she's as stubborn and obnoxious and beautiful as me. So, we just have issues. But she goes, I'm just telling you, the women I'm working with, from your group and I'm just hearing, you got to stay, like, could you just focus only on the root chakra? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, but it was in diving in, I was like, that is right. Right. There's so much. And so, but how you were talking about the trauma, like so much of us, we're like, we think it's all, oh, I have heart stuff. I have throat stuff. I have my third eye. And I'm like, so it's actually all connected to your butt. Like, it's all connected to you, to your root and to your lineage.
Yes.
And so I feel like right now, those of us who are being called forward, like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm dealing with my throat stuff, or I'm dealing with my this stuff. And I was like, really? I think most of us are dealing with our roots here. Like we're dealing with our patriarchal roots of our ancestral roots. Do we have roots? Like so many of us are disconnected from our lineage so much, Do we have
Yes.
security? Do we have fear? Do we have this? Why aren't you speaking your truth? Why are you afraid to speak? Anyway, but I feel like, yeah, it's so much right now. And we don't want to listen. We don't want to tap in because
No.
that's scary down there.
Well, sometimes it's hard.
Exactly. It
And
takes
then
a
you
lot of
think,
work.
and then you think about it as a woman too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did a live the other day. I could not do it because I talked about how women, as women, we don't always support each other.
Mm-hmm.
We don't support each other like we should, and I talked about how, now we have this vice president elect that is the first, woman of color in the Oval Office.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we could have had a woman before we had this clown that's in there now. I
Mm-hmm.
said, but people, didn't support her. They didn't even know why. When you ask them, well, what's wrong? I just don't like Hillary. I just don't like her. Well, what's wrong with her? I mean, do you not think that she probably would have been more qualified than this clown that's in there now? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. So, but women were like the worst ones that were like pulling her down. And I said, there's got to be some place where we support one another. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that women were the ones that elected this one now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was women. I believe we got out there and we mobilized. And when women come together and mobilize, we can do so much. But we have to stop pulling each other down and we have to start supporting one another. I felt so so strongly about that, and so called that I do a morning coffee Monday and Wednesday mornings usually, if I yeah. That's my goal. You know how that is. Sometimes on Monday mornings, I'm like, I just can't fucking get up. But
Mm-hmm.
but that's my goal. So Monday and Wednesday mornings, I do a morning coffee, which I try to make it less than like 15 minutes, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it goes a little longer, But that was that last one that I did. And that's what I talked about. I was like, we have to support one another. We have to stop beating each other up, because men don't do that. They push through and they push each other up. But women, oh my God, we can be so damn catty. And it's like, we got to stop that.
Yeah.
That has to change. It has to change
Yeah.
because we need to have sequels. And if we don't push each other up, we're not going to have a seat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We
Well,
weren't even talking about that, but that
no,
came.
oh no, that's a whole nother. We're gonna have to have you come back, and we're just gonna
Right. That's a whole nother live.
because trust me, it's something I feel super passionate about as well, and I call it one woman I know who does this work too. She calls it the sisterhood wound. It's
Yes.
also called
Yes.
often the witch wound because of the persecution
Yes.
of women. So women were
Yes.
turned against each other.
Yes.
So a
Yes.
lot of us were like, oh, it's just how, I just don't trust her or whatever. But it's
Right.
generational and it's ancestral that you were that others were not trustworthy, that you couldn't, because to protect yourself, you had to turn your sister in. If you wanted to save you and your family, you had to turn your sister in for thousands of years.
Yes.
And they broke down, and that's how right? That's colonizing patriarchal mentality. It's
And even
breakdown.
growing up. I mean, my mother was like, or I heard my grandmother say, you don't leave a woman in the house with your husband.
Mm-hmm.
Your friend, you just don't do that. It's just not something you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you think, okay, but if this is my friend, then I should be able to trust her.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is how it's so ingrained in us,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how we were raised. This is what happened, and it's from, just like you said, all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's from when they burned the witches in Salem, and and I'm sure they burned them in other places too, but that's the most famous one. But it's like, when they burn those women, and when they said, oh, they were, and they might have been freaking midwives.
Yep.
But they said, oh, they're witches because, they were able to birth the baby and this, that, and the third. And then women, were stoning them and all kinds of stupid stuff like that. And it's like, I can see this visual,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, we have to get away from that. We have to heal that sister wound, and we have to begin to lift other sisters up. And I'm serious about that because I'm one of those people that if I saw you somewhere and you had on cute shoes, I said, girl, them shoes are talking. I love them. I'm that girl. I'm the one that says, girl, that hair is beautiful. I love your makeup. I mean, anything, because you never know, what that person is going through at that time, and they need some validation, from another woman.
We're definitely going to have to do a part 2. We're going to have to do, because I feel like this conversation, because I mean, I just did, for those of you who follow me, I just did the 2-part masterclass, and the first part was healing the sister in the witch wound from Salem. Like we could have we will have, for y'all watching, I'm going to get Tammi back here, and we're going to deal with the sister wound. We're going to that's going to be one of our talks.
Yes, because that is like, that is so necessary.
Mm-hmm. I love it. So don't worry. We're going to make that happen for y'all. We will.
Yes.
So, but we are running out of time, sadly, of course. I know. But this has been amazing. And I'm so happy to have you, that you came on and you shared with us, because I love your spin. I love your energy. For those of you who are watching live, or if you somehow find the replay, which I never can do of these lives, I'm going to be posting. I don't know how it works. I'm like YouTube. I don't know what's happening here.
You find it like 2 days later.
I can't even sometimes, but like I had to click like buttons. So YouTube's, you will not best me. I will figure you out eventually.
Right. We got you.
But I'm going to be posting the replay. And in that, I'm going to be listing all the links of where you can find Tammi and all her amazingness. And if you guys had any questions that came up during our talk today, post them in the comments.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, and let us know, like, what are your thoughts on this conversation? We'd love to hear back from you guys too, because we went into some really cool places today.
We really did.
We did. I loved it. This is why I like having people. We were talking before, and we're like, some people are like, and we shall talk about these questions, and these shall be your next questions. Yes. And I'm like, so I'm going to give you one, and then we're going to go.
I love that. I think that's to me. Okay, so when I decided to start my little podcast that I started, I envisioned what's his name? Tom. Oh God.
Oh, Tom. Is it like Tommy Robinson?
No, the one that's on. He does this thing on YouTube, and he always Impact Theory.
Oh.
Yeah, I envision that because his show is like that. When you watch it, it's like this. It's like a conversation. They just flowed, and he doesn't do the questions either. He kind of says, okay, we're going to talk about you and this and that. And I love that. And so that was how my mind set up to do it. I was like, I love that, and I've had people that didn't want to come on because I didn't give them questions.
Oh,
like, well, that's your loss because I enjoy that. And this is fabulous because we started one place and we went all kind of other places.
Oh yeah. We do. Oh, love it. Love it. I'm looking at our comments. Said, yeah, yes, please. Y'all make one badass team. I love you both. Laughed and enjoyed both of you. Can't wait to have you both on again together. Yes, this was fun.
I was gonna say we probably really need to do some other stuff.
We should just make a podcast with the two of us. We should just be like, and we shall just chat. This is we'll talk about everything for the next week. hello, you're welcome.
I'm telling you, so much fun.
This is a blast. I loved it. So yes, we will definitely miss Tammi. We'll definitely be back on for you all. This is going, and we'll dive more into who knows what. Who knows? I know you were saying. I thought it was really funny. So you were saying you thought of that Tom or Tommy person. I'm not going to lie. I was inspired by Oprah in the shower one day. I was listening to her Super Soul Saturdays. I don't know if y'all watch that, but I'm like, I'm going to be Oprah.
It's on Facebook now.
I know. But then they're doing, sorry, y'all. I could go off about that. They've like started doing her archives, which is fine, but I get really confused. And I normally try to listen to it in the shower with the babies, which can get very complicated.
Yeah.
But I love the conversations. Like it's a conversation
because it's so beautiful. I used to when I had TV, because I don't have that crap. I used to watch it like every freaking Sunday. I'd be like, oh, my husband's like, what? I'm like, baby, Oprah's on Super Soul Sunday.
It's Oprah.
he's like, okay, I sent my book to her people.
Ooh. She better read that book.
I'm telling you, I sent my book to her people because I was like, I need this book to be made into a movie.
Ooh, that's gonna be awesome.
It's juicy.
I love it.
So I was like, I'm gonna send my book to Oprah because Oprah's gonna make it, or Tyler Perry's gonna make it, or Lionsgate.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
Somebody's gonna make it. I'm like, we gonna make this thing. So I've been trying to get it out there.
I love that. Okay, y'all listening, if you know who's going to make Tammy's book into a movie, you let us know so we can get that book to them.
So if you got it in with Tyler or Oprah or Lionsgate Entertainment or 40 Acres and a Mule or who the hell ever,
you let us know.
I got a good story.
Love it.
Actually, right. But I just appreciate you, and I thank you for just, even, the opportunity. To be honest, I don't even know how we met. I don't even remember. But I
heard you play. What was it? I think I met you. So this is funny, guys, because it ties into what she was saying. So the first time I was introduced to Tammi, she was doing a reading in a group. I don't think I'm in the group anymore, but it was, you were doing a reading in the group and you had smooth jazz playing in the background. I was like, I don't know who she is,
but I need to talk to her.
But I like, I'm here for the music. Like, you do you. And then you were like, and I'm pulling cards. And I was like, I'll take a card. And you were like, and this is your card. I was like, smooth jazz and cards. Like, hello.
Yes.
So
absolutely. I was like, okay, and I'm like, it's all good because I love to get on here and do this because I think this is so important and people need to see this and they need to see talking and getting along and having a good time and sharing, what did they say? And spitting truth.
Yes. Y'all know I don't like to mince words. Recently, I've been a bit more tame, but I have gone off a few times on some topics of said love and light themes and things and things. But
we love love and light, and we love
we love you all,
Hicks and all these things and stuff. Yeah. And, we just want to make sure that we're not bypassing and that we're sharing the real stuff and. Because that's so, we need to do that, just like when we were talking about the women thing, that's real stuff. That is real stuff. Yep. And even the losing the friends and all that kind of stuff is real stuff, but it's stuff people don't talk about. Yeah. And that's, to me, I feel like that's why I'm here. Mm-hmm. Just to talk about shit people don't talk about.
Yep. I used to call it, because you have like star seeds and you have different things. And there was a group I was with that, and then I promise, guys, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
And then we're going to keep going here. But I was like, she had different, tribes at the time or clans. Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, it was like the forest clan and the this clan. And I remember I was like, I don't identify with any of such clans. But for me, I called it the Star Sisters, not like stars out, but it was this concept of the ones who went in the cave, the ones who found the specks of light, even in the darkest shadows. Yes. And it was beautiful. And I was like, these women are like badass. Like, I like them. And I remember being like, do you know about the clan of the Star Sisters? Like, not like, galactic beings or anything, but like the women who deal with the cave shit. And she's like, oh no, but that's lovely. And I was
like, okay.
Okay. I guess I'll just keep my Star Clan sisters to myself here.
It's okay.
But yeah, because it's real. And I think in talking about it, people understand that, we've had, it's so social, right? In social media world and everything looks perfect. Everybody thinks it's great. Everybody thinks when you reach
honey,
right? See? Okay, I'm gonna stop myself because we're already starting the next podcast episode.
That's a whole nother thing. It's like, like I used to tell people, I used to laugh because I said, I would look at people and they say, oh, well, let me 10K months. And you think that everybody that tells you that they're going to show you how to make 10K months is making 10K months.
Mm-hmm.
Not so.
Make it till you make it.
And okay, but no.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
I can't. I can't. I mean, certain things I can. I mean, look, I'm already faking these fucking nails.
But they're gorgeous.
Because I'm not going to the nail shop. I've been doing my own. I just, I get anxiety when I get in those places and it's all closed up and here. And yeah, I can't do it. So I bought me a little nail, the dryer, and it's like I've been doing my own damn nails. Been doing my own hair.
I know. I had this long and I had been going to the hair salon and I was like, I had mermaid hair and I was like, it was just getting nasty and it was colored and I was like, I don't think I can go in one more time. Like, it takes a really long time. The kids, and I was like, honey, can I just go down the street and like chop? Like, I almost like went at my hair with scissors. He was like, my mom was like, let's put a pin in that one. Let's not just cut your hair with the scissors in the kitchen here. At least maybe go down the street real quick and just have them real quick do it. You like don't have to. And then I was like, fox color, just
with your mask on,
Yeah, exactly. Love it.
I've not done that. I'm like, no. All right. Well, it's been lovely. This has been a lovely conversation, darling. And we'll have to definitely do it again. We'll pick it up and hang out and do that. And maybe we'll do one of those things on our pages and stuff like that, or in our groups or whatever. So we'll get together and we'll do it again.
Yeah. So lovely. Y'all we will keep you updated about all the fun.
Yes.
That will continue. So Thank you, Tammi, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Keep an eye on the replay and we'll see you soon. So I'm going to stop.
Thank you so much, Jen, for having me.
Welcome.